Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to We Love Metal. We are on the phone with Kat from State Line Empire. How are you doing today, Kat?
I'm doing fantastic. How's it going?
Good thing. Down in sunny California, is it nice down there?
You know, it was raining nonstop for like 2 weeks, or like 3 weeks, but this is the first day that I've seen the sun.
I'd feel bad for you, but we had snow this morning up here, so.
You know what's funny is with the fans on Facebook and MySpace, really good about just talking and reaching out to everyone, and I tell everyone that same thing, and I get the same response. I don't feel sorry for you.
I'll tell you, normally I start off every interview talking about the new album or the new EP, and you guys have one out in Octane, and normally it's, the same canned answer of how the project came together, but you guys have quite a backstory on this one. Do you want to let the fans know about how Octane came together?
Yeah. So you want to know about the contest with Slash? Or
yeah, please.
Farther back?
No, just we can start with the contest and go from there.
Okay, sweet. So, gosh, I guess it's almost a year ago now. We saw one of the flyers that Guitar Center had put out advertising this contest with Slash, and the way it worked was that you would upload 3 songs to their website, and they gave you in return banners and widgets and different things that you could kind of post on other websites to kind of get the word out about your tunes up on the site, and then fans could go and then vote for their favorite tracks. What that did is it narrowed down the herd to the top 25 bands, and then from there, Mike Clink, who we all know and love, and Slash, of course, picked who they wanted to work with. So I think it was out of over 12,000 bands. I mean, we were handpicked by Slash and Mike Clink, so it was amazing, to get that phone call from him one day saying, hey, and Slash is the one that actually called. He called up Dave, our bass player, and basically said, hey, I love the band, you guys are rad, and, can't wait to work with you in the studio, and, we've selected you to work with and record your EP. So from there, we started pre-production and working with Mike Clink closely, and Jeff Varner, who is our manager at the collective, and Kyle, narrowing down the songs and picking the 4 best songs put on the EP, which was tough because we wrote like 90 songs. We had 90 songs going into this thing, and then we narrowed it down to 20, and then from that 20 we picked 4 to go on the EP. So it was really tough picking those 4 songs, So there's a lot more material that we can't wait to get out there.
Well, I'll tell you, man, it's when I just released to our mailing list and whatnot that we were going to interview you, we had a tremendous response. So I'm kind of going to be mixing this with some fan questions as well. And
oh, sure.
As much as I wanted to stay away from the contest because, you guys are a lot more than that, and that's what we focused on in our review, I did get a lot of questions, people wanting to know what it was like to work with a legend in Slash.
I think all those questions are good because, you know what, it's part of it. It's part of our whole growth as a band and everything, and it's something that we did, and we're proud of. We're proud that we got selected. So I think all questions are good, man.
Well, I'll tell you, what was it like to work with him?
Working with Slash, it was surreal, just to kind of take it back a little bit. I remember, being a kid and coming home with that first, Guns N' Roses record, Appetite for Destruction with, if everyone remembers the original artwork with the woman being attacked by the robot. I forget the artist, but I remember running home with that, and our parents at the time were just freaked out, seeing this album cover, and so we would hide it and then pull it out when they were gone and play it, So I mean, the reason I'm telling that story is if someone at that point had told me, hey, at one point in your musical career, you're going to be working with the guy on this record, the guy that did, Sweet Child of Mine and Welcome to the Jungle, I would have blown my mind, So, rushing forward and just, when we first met him, I mean, it was insane. We go in and he's in there and laying down some rough tracks, some leads to drive me. And I just kind of stood outside the control room for a minute and just listened, to what he was doing on it. And the guy's just a sick guitar player, man. And we're talking, Les Paul, cable, into a wah pedal, and then into the amp. So it's all in his fingers. There's no real studio magic there, like Pro Tools magic. I mean, what you're hearing is what the guy sounds like. And, so he sees we're there, he comes out, and, we just started, talking about Mike, because Mike and Slash go way, way, way back. And, so we were just kind of sharing stories with Mike Clink, who produced the EP and also did all the Guns N' Roses, and I think Metallica and Justice for All, and Crew and Megadeth. I think it was Rust in Peace. I hope I got that right.
It was. He was a legend in himself, that's for sure.
Yeah. So this guy, Mike Clink, he absolutely loves to cook. And he would bring us, we would be starving, because we'd be in the studio for 9-10 hours a day, doing pre-production. So he would bring in this Cajun meatloaf, that he would make. And it was so good. So we're sitting there, we're talking to Slash, and we're talking about Mike, and we're like, hey man, Mike makes the best meatloaf. And Slash kind of stops in his tracks, and he's all, what? So he cooked for you? And I'm like, yeah. Slash says, the 20 plus years I've known him, Mike's never cooked for me. So, we were ribbing Mike a little bit later about that. But yeah, I mean, Slash is a total down-to-earth guy, he's just a really cool guy. He's a killer guitar player, very soft-spoken, and, after he played his tracks, we listened to them. He's like, hey, so what do you guys think? So here's Slash, and he's asking us, what do you think about my leads? Do you guys like them, or should we change them, or what should we do? So I mean, it was just a surreal experience. It was such a great honor to work with someone of that caliber, and Mike Clink too. I mean, it's just, we learned so much in the studio. It's been such a great opportunity. It's real magical. Great experience.
That's good to hear, man. And what you produced in Octane, I just looking at my notes here. There's hard rock on it. There's some metal influence. There's a ballad on there. Did you guys use this to showcase what you could do, or do you guys just keep it mixed up?
We kind of keep it mixed up. Everyone in the band, and this was really cool, everyone in the band comes from such a wide range of influences. I mean, from Tool to Metallica to Chains to Guns N' Roses. I mean, just you name it. I mean, we're definitely all fans of music, and we all kind of lean a little bit more towards certain genres of music. But when we all come together, one thing that everyone loves is just a really good song with a really good hook, And so we try, when we get together to write, we try to focus on coming up with songs that are catchy and that, make people want to listen to them over and over again. But definitely we infuse, our different influences as it's appropriate for the song.
Definitely, and it turned out wonderfully. You guys need to be congratulated on that.
Thanks so much.
I had a fan ask us, Octane is very radio friendly, and I had mentioned that in the review. They want to know, and it's kind of a complex question, can you make radio friendly mainstream music that is heartfelt? Can it be emotional?
Yeah, I think so. And I think that when people hear some of the other tracks, they'll definitely start seeing a little bit more of that. I think it's definitely, it's kind of a tricky situation because you definitely, God, it's such a good question. You want to write something that's true to yourself, first of all, and I guess that's what we do, is we kind of, what we're doing in the band is we write songs that we want to hear, and we just kind of hope that other people want to hear them too, but, we definitely, when we get into the studio, are trying to capture that raw, live sound. And I think it's challenging when you're writing a song and you listen to the radio and everything is really commercial, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely you have to find a balance, I think, that appeals to everyone. At the same time, though, you have to stay true to yourself, you know?
And talking about those good hooks, I mean, every song has it. Every song on Octane has that good hook, and that is ultimately the most important thing if you're being true to yourself, and I think you guys have found that balance, so.
Yeah, definitely. I think what's real exciting, too, is so we're rehearsing right now for the live shows that we're going to start doing, and I think when people come out, they're going to be really blown away, because the songs actually do sound, you know, a lot heavier and raw and just really in your face. And I think, you know, that's definitely what we were trying to capture on the EP, is just that pure rock and roll energy, you know, that makes you want to get up and just, you know,
rebel. Now, speaking of that, what, you know, you got live shows coming up. What's your schedule like now in comparison to what it was before all of this happened?
You know, it's a hard work to start it. When we were doing the pre-production, I mean, it was pretty crazy. We were, you know, in LA, and, you know, we were working with Mike and demoing songs, and, you know, that in itself is a whole process, because you have to really go through, and that's the thing that's a little tricky, is when you're tracking something, you have to really go through and lock in those parts. You know, everything starts to become analyzed, you know, under the microscope a little bit more, because you want to make sure that you're fretting the notes properly and that things are in time, and you know, doing all that. So I mean, it's really tedious. It's fun, but it's tedious. You know, you have to really analyze these things. So, you know, it's a lot of work. Now that everything is kind of, you know, out and you know, available to everyone, what we're doing now is we're in rehearsals, just going through now and putting together, you know, the set, and going through the songs and promoting and kind of reaching out, like, you know, to fans and kind of seeing, you know, what people think. So it's a lot of work, and we're you know, it's a full-time thing. Everyone kind of has, in the band, kind of has their separate jobs, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Take the larger thing, and we kind of divide it up so that everyone's kind of doing a separate piece of it, you know, because it's a lot for one person to take on. So everyone's doing a subset of that, and then we kind of loop back and see how things are going and come up with different ideas, you know, and based off of feedback that we get. And so it's really busy right now. It's really exciting, though, because, again, we cannot wait to get out and start playing these songs live for people.
What do you think is the most important thing that you guys can do right now in your career to capitalize on this exposure?
You know, I think to get out and play, you know, and bring the music to the fans. I think that's the most important thing we can do, you know. Obviously get it on the air, and you know, get people to become more aware of it and to listen to it. But I think definitely getting out and playing and meeting the fans, and you know, going from there.
Well, one question to wrap this up, Kat, and I've taken enough of your time. We asked this to everyone we've ever interviewed. Living or dead, past or present, one band that you could share the stage with, who would it be?
Oh my God, that's such a tough question. God, you know what? I would say the early version of Van Halen.
Believe it or not, that's a popular answer.
Is it really?
It really is. Yeah, from some of the most hardcore metal guys you'd ever meet.
Yeah, or the early. You know, I'm listening to. It's funny you should ask that question. I'm listening to Fair Warning right now. So yeah. I'd say early Van Halen for sure.
Well, I want to thank you so much for doing this, Kat.
Thank you so much, too. This is awesome.